Alrighty, so I am videotaping and no trespassing. You see that? Huh? I bet that's new. Isn't that great? Yeah. Probably from all the dirt bikers. Maybe it's been there before. Maybe. It's the first time I noticed it, so... You know, people come over here to ride their dirt bikes. So, so who knows? Wow, that's another rant. I was gonna rant some more about a couple of things. And a couple of things I'm going to rant about was ham radio equipment, back to antenna tuners. What I was talking about on my last bicycle ride. And I'll start with that. I will start with that. I'll have to go back and see if my last bicycle video showed that no trespassing sign, but I don't think so. You know, I think it's because they use this as a motocross course instead of being out in the desert that goes from here to southern Mexico. You know, they're in the residential district next to the highway where all the dust goes on the highway. Anyway, back to ham radio antenna tuners. So I've got to renege on my statements about, I guess, about my Chinese antenna tuners that are cheap. They're cheap to buy, and I don't know. I would say they're cheaply made. However, I'm reneging a little bit. You know, here I am out here. I love my China bike. Not that I haven't had issues with it, but, you know, for the price point and the fun factor, you know, it's already paid for itself. I mean, you've seen where I've taken this thing. If I just rode this thing on the highway, like most people do, you know, they buy them and ride them on city streets or neighborhood streets, you know, I probably wouldn't have had any of the issues I had. I don't know. I haven't had very many. But the Chinese antenna tuners, you know, they're super tiny, which is cool. And a lot of them, the one I bought is under $100, you know, and I believe it was listed at 100 watt. Pretty sure it was listed as 100 watt. I see them now for even cheaper, even though the tariffs are supposed to make that stuff skyrocket. It's even cheaper than what I paid for it. And they list it as a 200 watt antenna tuner, 1.8 to 50 megahertz. But, you know, using it with my ground plane antenna, which is 10 and 11 meter antenna. Hey, squirrel, you better run, squirrel. Anyway, I didn't expect it to, you know, you always hope an antenna tuner will just magically work. But the antenna tuner, the China one, will tune at 80 meters, a 2.5 match. Sometimes it gets a 2.2, which is usable. It's not great. You like to be under 2. But it'll tune to, you know, a 2.2, 2.5 match on 80 meters. It'll tune 40 meters right up. Flat match, it'll tune 10 meters, of course. That's kind of where my antenna is. So, but when you go across, you have a pretty wide 10-meter band, and so when you go across that, you know where my antenna is tuned at, and the other portions of the band, you got to have an antenna tuner. But anyway, it tunes on 10 meters, tunes on 40 meters, and it will tune 80 meters. Just doesn't tune 80 meters like a charm. And so, as I mentioned already, you know, I broke down and bought the LDG AT200 Pro 2. And it's pricey. You know, you can buy a mobile radio for the price of an antenna tuner. A nice mobile radio. So, and I bought that tuner. I got it yesterday. I hooked it up last night. And one very interesting thing. And the fact that it won't tune 80 meters at all with the ground plane. Won't tune it at all. Won't even give you a high SWR like a 4 or a 5. It just won't tune it. It just sits there and tries to tune it, but won't stop. You know, it doesn't even. And when you're tuning the other bands, it will tune them to a flat match, but it takes maybe 10 seconds or so. I'm going to tell you that little China tuner tunes 2 or 3 seconds. It's tuned. You know, you push the talk button on the microphone, and that thing's like zip. Whatever it's going to do, it's like zip, and it tunes pretty quick. But the biggest thing with that LDG tuner is I have 4 radios hooked up to a switch box. And the China tuner, no problem. You know, it works with my antenna switch box, and I have a meter in line. And so I couldn't get the thing to tune on any frequency. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So I took the cable from the one radio, straight to the tuner, and the antenna straight to the tuner, and then it tuned. Wouldn't tune 80 meters, but it tuned the other ones to a flat match, but it won't work through the antenna box. I called Gigaparts this morning about possibly returning it, And they're like, we've never heard of that. You know, because they have radio people who work there. And they're like, we've never heard of an antenna tuner not working with the switch box. I'm like, yeah, well, it is pretty weird. I don't think the antenna tuner is broke. It's just not liking my switch box. Let's see here. I got another spam call. I've had like 20 this morning already. Answer call. Hello. Answer call. Answer call. Okay. Okay, well, spam calls. Yeah, my music stopped playing because of spam calls. Sometimes it starts by itself, but it didn't. And I wore my motorcycle helmet today. It's heavier, but if you watch my previous e-bike video, I'm in very rocky terrain, more rocky than this. And I have to wear a chest mount with my mountain bike helmet. And you could see when I lowered my mountain bike seat, you know, the view was way down here. Which isn't horrible. I'd rather have it higher. But the biggest thing I noticed is that the chest mount, when you're pedaling up these rocky hills, that chest mount gets crooked, you know, on your chest. One side drops down. And then the video was all skewed to the side, so. And the helmet, the bicycle helmet, you know, it's a full coverage. I ain't gonna wear an open bicycle helmet, you know, because this is the money maker right here. But anyway. So, sorry, don't have my seat lowered, so. So So anyway, I gotta figure out a helmet mount for an older bicycle helmet. I ordered one. It was a strap-on mount. Too big, of course. Didn't cost a lot of money, but too big. I'm not going to return it. It'll work on a actual motorcycle helmet, probably. But I've got to get a sticker mount for my bicycle helmet because, you know what I'm saying. That's why I always say you know what I'm talking about. Because this view up here is better. You know, you can look down on the handlebars and see more in front of you, horizon, instead of okay, I'm gonna go back because I did say it's gonna be, I didn't say it might not be a short video, but it's a short ride. Got to get back and then turn around and go to Carson. Woo! But I'm keeping that other helmet mount because it was cheap. But the view, you know, when it's on chest mount, you get a lot of my arms, right? You're looking down my arms and then you're looking through the handlebars. You know, with the head camera mount, you know, you might be seeing my hands or my wrist and the handlebars, but you see all of what's in front of me. So that's why. And it doesn't, you know, doesn't get all cockeyed like that. Or like that, you know, if you're climbing and your chest strap goes sideways. So anyway, I've ridden that way with the chest mount for a few months now, maybe 3 or 4 months now. Now I'm gonna change stuff up. I gotta find a way to mount the camera on the helmet, not on top. I don't like that either because you gotta be able to get to the camera button. So I gotta mount it like I got my motorcycle mounted, or I'm gonna be wearing my motorcycle helmet, or get a new bicycle helmet, I guess. All right. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. You know. Hands going to sleep. All right, so I covered the antenna tuner mount. I know I jumped off that subject in the middle. I kind of bounce around like that, like my bicycle. But I got in touch with Gigaparts. They're like, we never heard of that. We don't understand what's going on. You can call the manufacturer, see if they have an answer. I go, well, how about if I just return it? It was expensive. Well, they want a 15% restocking fee, and then it's going to cost me $40 to ship it back. So that's, you know, with the price of that, that will be $75. So you've lost $75, you know, right off the bat. So I don't know if I'm going to send it back. I'll just maybe end up selling it to someone. You know, I won't be able to sell it for what I bought it for, but I can lose $25, not $75. Hasn't been used. I just tried to hook it up. You know, it'd work fine for a single radio. But like I said, I've got multiple radios, and it's a little bit of a hassle to unscrew coax and screw it into another radio and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. I'll decide in the next few days. I'll see if I can get a sticky mount today for my bicycle helmet. Otherwise, I've got lots of motorcycle helmets, so I'll probably be using one of those for my bicycle, because I've got lots of them that I can mount a camera to and change the view. I really didn't like it that the camera view was skewed to the side. Maybe some people don't notice that. I noticed it right off the bat. And that wasn't this camera. This is my Insta 360 camera, which actually does 360 view. The video quality isn't quite as good as the Insta 360 Ace Pro 2, which is not a 360 camera. And you have to make sure you have the field of view correct, because there's no correction. So you can take bad video with that, right? You could be pointing at the ground, or you could be pointing in the sky. But it does make much nicer videos with more detail, and it shoots in 8K. I did get one 8K video, a test video uploaded, and then I tried to upload some more 8K videos, and YouTube wouldn't cooperate, so that's another issue to talk to YouTube about. I probably don't have enough followers or popular enough for them to let me upload 8K videos. You know, that's a lot of, my videos are big already, and that's a lot of video storage. Double of 4K. I did notice you couldn't search my channel anymore with my name of the channel, because somebody else has a Rant and Ride. Go figure. I didn't see any channels with Rant and Ride when I named it, but somebody else has Rant and Ride. They do, yes sir. And they're actually an adventure bike rider. So they have Rant and Ride. So how I got my videos to show up now is every title of my video I have to start off with Rant and Ride. So that has to be the first thing in the title, and then after Rant and Ride, then I put the subject. So far that's working, until something else gets broken. All right. I think that's about my rants today. Interesting plans. We have a tentative ride to Hawthorne at least, maybe Tonopah, but at least Hawthorne. We're not going to do all desert. We're going to do, because we're taking the adventure bikes, so both desert and street. So that's tentative. I still got to see if I can get my rear wheel from leaking. Not sure if that's going to happen. But anyway, and I'm always going to do some bike rides, you know. Pack up 2 batteries and go a little bit farther. Like in El Dorado Canyon, I haven't done that for a month or so, the full canyon. Try to get up on top of Sunrise Pass. If I try to stay in pause 1 most of the time, like I am right now, it'll go 50 miles. And with 2 batteries, you know, that'd be 100 miles or so, and I could actually do it. Sunrise Pass and then come back on my dirt bike route. But if I don't make it back, I'm pedaling all the way. Which is okay. It's exercise. It's just, you know, this bike weighs 75 pounds without assist, so uphills are, yeah, pretty tricky. Lots of leg power there. Alright, so anyway, this video is probably close to 29 minutes. I know it's gotta be, so I told you it'd be a short ride, and I might as well try and keep this video clip short. I won't get it uploaded till later on this afternoon. Have a good day. God bless. Keep praying for America and other world countries and all the stuff that's going on, because we know what's really going on. Jesus is setting his platform to come back. Hallelujah. All right, God bless.